Hello, welcome. Let's start with a couple deep breaths. Now that I got that out the way, let's talk about how I'm 35, no man, no children, couple degrees, unemployed, but traveling. You see, a lot of the freedom that a lot of people want is on the other side of that comfort. Luckily, I've had the ability to see what it's like to have those dreams and to see what it's like to actually live. So I'm not living anyone else's dream. I'm just simply being me. You know, I spent a lot of my life trying to be the perfect student, trying to obtain degrees, thinking that would give me the perfect job at the perfect company and my life will be perfect. All of us think that to some degree. But what if the issue is you're not supposed to be living that? What if you're not supposed to be working at somebody else's company, making them a bunch of money? What if you're in the top 20% of a company and they still fire you? That is when I realized it is time for me to bet on me. I mean, at the ripe age of 18, I betted on thousands and thousands of dollars of debt that at the age of 35, I still can't afford to pay off. So I wondered what it would be like to go from that 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment to a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment to sticking my stuff in storage and traveling. Something I've always wanted to do, but I knew I had to have a certain amount of money in my bank account and I had to make sure that I could, sustain myself and make sure I had a roof over my head and a car to drive and all the things that they tell us are so important. And granted, I have the car paid off, surprisingly, and all my stuff sitting in storage, but I'd be okay with letting it all go to never, ever, ever, ever have to go back to a country that never, ever accepted me for me in the first place. So I sit here in a condo in another country, just grateful that I have all of my needs met, grateful that I'm not wanting for one thing. And I'm just grateful that I'm about to go put on my beautiful shoes and walk outside and go figure out what Chiang Mai has in store for me tonight. So maybe to America, I am a fuck up. Maybe to America, I am not the perfect thing. Maybe to America, I did everything wrong. But to me, I'm realizing that everything that I tried to obtain, every way I tried to prove myself, every performance, every single thing brought me closer and closer to what they wanted me to be, but further and further away from who I truly am. I'm not built for the system. I was the kid who always asked why, but why? When the teacher told me that the sky is blue and the grass is green, I'm like, why? Who told you that? But little did she know I had seen yellow grass. I had seen green grass. I had seen brown grass. I had seen skies that aren't just blue. But I defied their logic at the ripe age of 5. So people who have their own mind, who think for themselves, who aren't the best at being compliant, those are leaders. And those are people who don't do well in cubicles. Those are people who don't do well trying to be something that they're not. Perfectionism is something that is an illusion that they taught us was right, but it's not right. What's not right is losing yourself, trying to be something that you're not, whether it be a company, whether it be a career, whether it be a job, family, friends, relationships, You don't have to be something that you're not, and you don't have to prove yourself. So it's okay when you don't want to prove yourself. It's okay when you're tired just of being something that you know is not you. That is many of us. Many of us just working a system that works us into a grave, a very early one. But you don't have to be that way. You can be 35, unemployed, no man, no kids, smiling, and not having to be subjective to all the different things that they try to tell you to be, or rather, an object. What if life is out there waiting for you, but you have to take the leap? You have to trust yourself. You have to be willing to be in situations that you've never been in to figure out exactly where it is that you're supposed to be. And that's me right now. I have nobody demanding me of my time. I have no KPIs that I have to meet. I have no, I have to ask for permission to go to the restroom. I have none of that. No lunch breaks that are on a time that my body doesn't approve of. I don't have to clock in and clock out. I can simply be. And I want that for so many of you guys. And this message may go far and wide, and it may not. But I hope that it at least touches one soul, one person who knows that they aren't being true to themselves, who knows that there's so much more out there, but they don't know how. And sometimes it's okay to not know how. Before I even took this journey, my best friend told me God doesn't need my bank account. And it's true. Doesn't need a certain amount of money in your savings account. But you do have to think of things. And for me, I was grateful enough to start plotting and planning how to get my credit right before FICO came about. And I knew to try to save up as much as I possibly could. But I also know that there are plenty systems in place that won't even allow you to do that because they don't want you to explore. They don't want you to see the world outside of the little itty bitty cubicle that they have you in, the little itty bitty space where you don't defy things, where you don't, look for approval that's outside of yourself. They don't want that for you. They don't want that. They don't want you to be different. They don't want you to learn and grow by just exploration and experiences. No, 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 no. They want to teach you it through a book. There's somebody who, is going to encourage you to follow their way instead of your way. But it is okay to be you. It is okay to stop trying to be something that you're not. It is okay to sit with yourself. It is okay to not know. And it is okay to bet on you. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to show you how I did it for me and hopefully encourage, inspire, uplift one of you to do the same.